Now then YouTube, welcome back. Today I'm out in the Dunnerdale Fells. I'm going to be pitching the Fjallraven Abisko Dome 2. So I've had this tent out on a couple of videos now, or definitely one video anyway. I thought after using it a total of 3 times, I've built up enough knowledge on the tent now to have a bit of a discussion about it, show you how I pitch it, whether it's right or not, and yeah, we'll go through some bits that I really like about the tent and I really don't like about the tent. So without further ado, let's get on with it. So one of the things that I really don't like about the tent is the pack size. So this is my low alpine air zone trail 25 litre backpack, and without cinching the tent down at all, it literally fills the bag. So I've got tents that I can do a full summer setup, that's including sleeping pad, cooking stuff, tent and quilt, pillow and a bit of food. I can fit everything in this bag. This bag will only fit that one tent in. With the tent you get a pole bag, a peg bag, the tent bag, the fly sheet and the inner tent, and obviously the guy lines as well. So that total weight for all these items is 3,160 grams. So nearly 3.2 kilos. We've gone to the second thing that I'm not too keen on about this tent. 3.2 kilos for a backpacking tent, that's too much. That's not actually including another 480 grams for the footprint of this tent, which comes separately and is also 100 pounds, which to me again is too much for a footprint. So that takes the total packed weight, including the footprint and all the bags, all the pegs, the poles, the guy lines, to 3,640 grams, which again is a lot of weight. However, that is just over a kilo, so 1.2 kilos more than an H-Hike Cloud Peak 2. The footprint for this tent covers all the vestibules and all underneath the inner tent as well, so you're getting a lot of protection, and the fact that it covers both vestibules means that it reduces condensation inside your tent and it gives you a bit of a better place to store your gear to keep it dry off the ground, etc. Really nice poles that come with the tent. These are 9.6mm DAC poles, and the pegs are small DAC V pegs. Let's have a look at how she pitches. So as with any dome tent, I'll always get the poles ready first. That way your tent's not flapping about in the wind, and you run less risk of the tent blowing away. That's the 3 poles done. Then I'll take 2 pegs, get them in my pocket just in case of wind. I haven't actually bought the footprint with me today. So what I'll do is first is I just peg 2 of the corners out. Just loosely. So on this tent we have the option for 2 poles to obviously make it a lot more sturdy in the wind, and you have those on 3 of the corners, and then this side are the pole sleeves reinforced where the pole feeds through. I'll show you that now. So this brings me on to a part of the tent which I don't like, which is you have to kneel on it to feed the pole through to its respective slot. So they're colour coded. So this one's red. It's underneath the rain fly on the top. I'll just bring it in to show you. So you can see silver, red and yellow slots. So the poles come out of one, like so, and then into the next one. So I find it a little bit daft that you have to kneel on the tent unless you've got 6 foot long arms to feed the pole through. The first pole, which is the top one, we'll slide that all the way through until we get to this point with the foot, and we slot it in. Then we go around the tent and continue that pattern. So she looks something like that. So I'll now walk around the tent. I'll peg all of the 6 sides out, and once I've got the shape, I'll then pull all the guy lines out and peg those out. So once you've pegged all 6 sides out, you can actually cinch the tent down using these. So where the pole goes into the foot, you just cinch them down. Really makes the tent rigid. So that's on 3 of the sides. So we'll just get him in there. So these are just on a string and toggle, and also you can cinch these down as well, like so. So as you can see already, I haven't pegged anything out other than the 6 sides, and it's already pretty sturdy. So we'll see what it looks like when the guy lines are pegged out. So I believe the general rule of thumb with guy lines is to get them as long as possible. So there's mesh inside. So that's the tent, fully pitched. There's quite a stiff breeze today. Not entirely sure how fast, but it's definitely blowing. You'll probably be able to tell by the mic. which is like a limpet. So you'll notice opposite sides they've got the external vent, and that correlates with the inner tent. There's also a ventilation area in the inner tent where we can unzip and just either have mesh or completely open, depending on what time of year it is for the bugs. So the material is a new sil nylon. It's called triple rip. Don't know if you can see, it's got a large square with 9 small squares inside. So that's triple rip stop sil nylon. It's a 20 denier upper and then a 40 denier lower, and that means that it'll survive the abrasion off stuff like tough grass, ice, stones, anything like that. It's a lot more sturdy. So the upper is obviously the thinner material to keep the weight down. So we've got a door on both sides. Just tidy that away. With tie back toggles. Really nice quality, and one massive vestibule. So as I said, I don't have the footprint today, but this whole area will be covered by the footprint, so it's a really nice sort of workspace for cooking or just to keep your gear dry. Let's have a look inside. You can zip off and tie back the full door, so you've just got no-seam mesh. This is a really fine mesh, keeps the tiniest of bugs out. And there you can see another large vestibule. Nice storage area in the top for you to stick your sunnies or whatever else you need to put up there. It also clips out for anybody who doesn't want that extra bit of weight. These flaps on the top. Oh, excuse me, bad filming. You get the idea though. So we've now got mesh going straight to the outside of the tent. When they're zipped up, they're waterproof, and you've got one on each side. On the inside of the tent, we've got these that roll away. You can close the flap from the outside. Just have bug mesh or fully closed up for winter mode. So as I said before, 2 doors, identical on both sides. It's a D shape, so you've got a large area that opens up, large sleeping area, plenty big enough for 2 people. So another cool feature of this tent is that in bad weather, because it's the Lake District that I'm using it in, is ideal for me. So bad weather, but warm weather, there's a toggle on the end of the door, and that goes through this loop here on the inside of the tent, and then we can zip the door down and still have a nice bit of ventilation, and the door's kept well out of the way. Brucey. So overall, this tent, I absolutely love it. It's the most money I've ever spent on a tent. I actually I got it in the sale from Taunton Leisure, and yeah, I paid around £790 for it, I think. I did send one of my mates to the shop to get me the footprint, and he managed to get me a few quid knocked off. So I picked that up for £70, which is better than £100, isn't it? So yeah, still on sale at the minute for £790 in Taunton Leisure. If you're fancying one, I highly recommend it. Great tent, and they're designed to last you a lifetime, which is why they cost so much money. Tent comes in 3 colours. This sandy colour, which blends really well with the Lake District fell grass. A green one, which is, again, probably blend pretty well with the bracken. And a bright blue one, which I would only really recommend for mountaineering. But yeah, absolutely love it, highly recommend it. The parts that I don't like is it's quite difficult to pitch, or a little bit awkward, doable in the wind, but I have easier tents that I would pitch in the wind. The other part I don't like is obviously the price. It comes in at £900 out of the sale, and then another £100 for your footprint. I personally would expect £1,000 worth of tent to come with a footprint. I know some of the other manufacturers do. There we go. Just to knock a bit of a myth on the head as well. I watched a video where somebody said about what this tent comes with, and it's got a repair kit with it, and in that repair kit is some patches for the tent and seam sealer, and they said that seam sealer is to seam seal the whole tent. So when they bought it, they went round and they sealed the whole tent, and they thought they had to do that. That's not true. The tent's already seam sealed, waterproof, straight from the shop, so don't waste your time seam sealing it. And if you're not a pro at that sort of stuff, you're going to make a real mess of your lovely new tent. So absolutely do not need to seam seal it. The seam seal that comes with it is for the patches in case you put a hole in it. That's all, nothing else. So yeah, if you've got a spare grand, get one bought. Highly recommended. If not, whatever tent you've got will probably do the trick. So apologies about the audio on this video. I'm just trying out a new mic, and it's windy, so it might be absolutely terrible. If it is, I apologise. Yeah, so if you like this sort of video and you enjoyed watching, please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll catch you at the next one. Ta-da!